What's with your obsession in wrapping everything in pastry? I don't understand. I mean, you've got a nice sausage and you put pastry around it.
Do you know what? I feel pretty good. Oh, it's good technique. It's very good technique. Welcome to Talking Cakes with Peter Bakes. This is the show where we share good chat and good cake. And today I'm joined by a good friend. He is a proud Britalian and an engineer by trade, but he is best known for his incredible bakes. He is the winner of Great British Bake Off Series 12, the author of 2 cookbooks. Giuseppe, thank you so much for joining the show.
Good morning, Peter. Morning, everybody.
Your dad was a baker by trade, so you must have known what good cake was right from the very start. Having that experience growing up, does that skew your perception of how good a baker you should be when you start to get into the hobby yourself?
Yes, in a way it does, because well, I was spoiled not just by my dad being in the trade himself, but my extended family includes chocolatier, bread bakers, pâtissiers. So I grew up surrounded by croissant and cakes. For me, it was like literally like bread and butter. And you feel the pressure of, performing well in that context. But the other thing is that I never felt the need of baking anything, because I always had something sweet or something good at home to eat. So I only started doing it after I left home, when I started university on my own when I was 18. And all of a sudden, on a Sunday, I didn't have a cake anymore after lunch. So I was like, I've got to do something about this. And there was no cake in any supermarket or in any patisserie that was good enough for me. And I feel that I'm ruining my kids as well, because obviously, especially after Bake Off and after the testing that went into all the books, I had to develop a very critical mindset. So you taste the cake and you start judging the appearance and the texture. You become a bit of a Paul and Prue by proxy, you know. And my kids now are exactly the same. Every time we go out and we eat anything out, they're starting to go, the texture of this pudding isn't quite as creamy as I expected. I'm like, what have I done?
The crumb structure isn't quite there.
Yeah, this is slightly overbaked. I've ruined them for life.
Going into the testing of writing your books and prepping for them, how many cakes do you eat and critically analyze through making your book?
You can tell, Peter. I've put on 20 kilos since Bake Off. The worst part of being on the New Year special was that they showed a lot of bits from the previous season, so 5 years prior for me. And you could tell the difference. I only had one chin back then. I've got a couple now. But this is all because of those, so I blame the books.
Okay, well, I've got a bake for you, and it is a savory bake. But I must say it's one that I'm slightly nervous to share with you. So, you ready to get some eating done? Yeah?
Getting nervous.
So, Giuseppe, I always bake something for my guests on the show. Mm-hmm. And today, this is the first time I've actually baked for you, I think.
Yes.
And I'm quite nervous about what I've baked for you.
You could never disappoint me, Peter. Come on.
I may have disappointed you right now.
You're scaring me now.
I'm gonna say this has been inspired by a combination of Scotland and Italy coming together in this bake.
Okay.
We'll lift the cloche and I'll tell you more about it. Are you ready to lift the cloche and see what we've made?
3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay. Have you heard of a great classic Scottish bake called the macaroni pie?
No.
Okay. It is what it is.
What's with your obsession in wrapping everything in pastry? I don't understand. I mean, you've got a nice sausage and you put pastry around it.
I think this is the best thing about Britain, is that we'll put everything in pastry. So a classic Scottish bakery item is the macaroni pie, which is literally macaroni cheese put inside of a hot watercress pastry.
What's not to like? But there is something more in there, I'm sure.
And at my school, there would be a macaroni pie roll, which some people would have for break time snack, which is macaroni cheese inside pastry, inside a roll.
I mean, that
would be
carbs wrapped in carbs.
That's it. And that was a 10:15 a.m. snack at our school. So what I've made for you today, I've taken the idea of a macaroni pie, but I've made a pasta ragu pie.
Okay.
For you.
Okay.
I've made a sort of a slow braised pork ragu we've got pasta inside.
That sounds
and it's
phenomenal.
inside a hot watercrust pastry. So
I'm salivating already.
I'm slightly worried that I've offended you entirely, but do you want to dig in? Do you want to try it and give me an honest review of what you think about it?
Okay, so that's very nicely baked, no soggy bottoms there. What pastry is it? Is it hot
water crust?
Hot water crust.
Yeah. It's actually the first time I've made a hot water crust.
Look at the flakiness of the meat.
Okay, I'm going to jump in with you at the same time.
I love it. The pastry is really nice and flaky, and you can taste the sweetness of the meat, or the pork meat.
I think it's good. I think it's a little dry. I don't think it needs. I think the pasta being in there is for the joke instead of it being for the pie. If it was just a ragu pie,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
The only thing I would add to that, depending on taste, is a bit of chili, something a bit zesty and some heat. I think
It's dark, it's rich.
Yeah, but if you don't mind, I'm going to keep the rest. Do you have a doggy bag?
Please, take it away. For your train home, you can have some ragu pie on the way. So you're a proud Britalian, and you're an incredible baker. Are there any combinations and strange crossovers between Italian baking and British baking that people don't realize? Are there places where they meld and meet?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think it's easier to find the bits that are different in between the two. However, having said that, there is constant, evolution in cookery in general and in baking as well, that generates a lot of hybridization or fusion, as they call it in the business, of different cuisines. So in modern Italian baking, there are many more overlaps with the sort of American, Northern European baking than there have been in the past. But the original and the traditional styles are very, very different.
And then across Italy, there's so many different styles of baking. Is there anything that is a common theme within Italy and within baking, or does it become so hyper-regionalized when you actually get down and into it?
It is very regionalized. It is very the mentality around food in Italy is very parochial. So everybody is very proud of their own tradition, and what's done in my town is different from what's done 5 miles down the road, and I want to call it with my own name rather than that. So there is a lot of preserving that type of history. But I think the one thing that is common across the country is the use of food as a love language in reality. So even the least experienced chefs or cooks or bakers in Italy, they still know a lot more than the average cook everywhere else, mostly because food is not considered only nourishment, but is considered a channel for sharing, for bonding within families, with friends. So I think that what's common across the whole country is the power that is relinquished to food rather than the recipes themselves.
And then going back to you growing up with a family of bakers and chocolatiers and all of this, is there a core memory of your favorite recipe or something that you just loved growing up?
There are a couple. There are a few actually. I think that the bits that I remember more fondly about my childhood at home are the smells related to specific seasons in the year. So, for example, in preparation to Christmas, obviously with a father chef and baker, for Christmas and for all the religious celebrations, we never bought presents for family and friends. All that we gave away was food. So in preparation to Christmas, my dad used to prepare like 30-40 trays of Christmas biscuits to give out to family and friends. So the house smelled of cinnamon, cloves for like a whole month prior to Christmas. And the same thing in Easter, because we have a traditional pie in Naples that is called pastiera, that is made with orange blossom extract. So it smells flowery I mean, it's very powerful. And again, making 30 or 40 of those, they're all wrapped up in your front room, ready to be delivered to your friends. The house smells delicious. So I think that these are the memories that are going to be with me forever.
It's actually a really good point, because I think about food bringing back memories, but actually it's often the smell of it is actually the thing that triggers that connection and that memory. So yeah, thinking of seasons with those connections to smells, do you still make those bakes?
100%. Yes, they are in my books. I make them for my kids. Well, I make them for myself mostly because I want to smell those smells again. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I read somewhere that smell is one of the most underrated senses because it's not as, flamboyant as everything else, but it's got a very strong connection with your memories within your brain. So there must be a reason behind it.
And then going back to British baking, have you got a guilty secret favorite British bake?
Well, not a guilty one. I like it and I'm proud of it and I'm not ashamed at all. Is the sticky toffee pudding.
Yes.
I think that's such a classic, and it is very British because, it's steamed, it is very dense, it's not the usual fluffy chiffon cake with lots of caramel and the sauces. It's a proper pudding. So I think it ticks a lot of boxes in terms of British traditional bake, and how can you not like it, honestly?
It's a very good answer. It's the best bake. It is the best bake. We're going to go into our first of our baking challenges now. So you ready for it?
As ready as I'll ever be.
So Giuseppe, it is now time for our speed challenge.
Oh, I hate this. I'm not very competitive, Peter. I hate it.
Every week, our guests are competing for the coveted top position on the Talking Cakes with Peter Bake Speed Whisking Challenge leaderboard.
Okay.
How excited does that make you?
Very.
Yeah. I can tell that you're pumped for this. You're really excited.
Oh, God.
So what we're doing in this challenge, we're testing a fundamental skill of baking. How well can you whisk? So in this bowl, you've got 60 mils of double cream. I'm going to give you the command to start whipping up the cream. That's when your timer will start.
Okay.
The timer will finish once the cream is thick enough that you can hold the bowl over your head without it falling out. At that point, once the bowl is over your head, upside down, I will
thought
stop
that was
the
for
timer.
meringues, no?
It works for cream
Well,
as
fair
well.
enough,
It works
fair
for
enough.
cream as well. Okay, have you got any questions about it?
Yeah. Why did I do it?
Why did
I say yes?
Are you feeling confident?
No.
No. So under sufferance, are you ready to go?
Under duress.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
On your marks, get set, whisk. Let's go. You gotta go. You gotta get in it. Oh, it's good technique. It's very good technique. Oh, he quit. Keep it going. Keep it going. You're doing so well. You're doing so well, Giuseppe. Oh, it's almost there. Go, 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 go. Be bold. Be bold. Yes. Oh, very good, Giuseppe. Very good. I think you could have gone a little bit earlier, actually. But that was remarkably good. How do you think you went?
I think this is the very first time that I whisk cream by hand, so I'm impressed with the result.
It's very good.
Whatever that
You've got
says.
the technique. I'm going to give you some people on our leaderboard. So our top spot is David Smith. He's a Paralympic gold medalist, 12.8 seconds.
Oh, well, he's an athlete.
Some notable people for you. Nikki Laceby is the top bake-off contestant at 13.55
seconds.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Nikki went for it. She was quick. Rahul at 15.5.
I've done worse than that for sure.
Tom Hetherington at 16.3. But then at the bottom of our leaderboard, we've got Scottish international rugby player Duhan van der Merwe.
At
big strong man, 1 minute 10.
I don't think I did as bad as that, did I? Oh my God!
How do you think you've gone in relation to these people?
I'm certainly not near the top. Nowhere near the top. Hopefully, I'm not that close to the bottom.
Okay, Giuseppe, I can tell you did the speed whisking challenge in a time of 20.56 seconds, putting you 8th on the leaderboard in front of Judy Murray.
Blimey, I'm happy.
There you go. That's very good done. Very well done. You absolutely smashed it. Well done.
Okay. Happy with that. Did you get Judy Murray?
Yeah, Judy Murray
to do the test.
Yeah. She put the cream over her. It was great. It was great. So we just put you back into a competitive baking environment, but you're kind of used to that already.
By now I am, yes. Yeah, I can't deny that.
But the tent can be quite overwhelming as a place with a number of people in there the fact that what you're doing in there is going to be watched by like 10 million people in the UK alone and more people overseas and abroad. Was that daunting for you going into that, or were you just focused on baking and could you separate the two things?
It was very daunting, Peter, because I was coming from a profession that is very systematic and formal and stiff, and which is engineering, and my main concern was to make a fool out of myself on national television, because I didn't want my customers to think, you can't even bake a cake, how are you supposed to be baking an aircraft wing? So thankfully that did not happen, but yeah, the idea occurred to me that I might have been ruining my reputation, my professional reputation on TV.
You can see the engineering coming into your baking, I think. I still remember seeing your first ever bake on Bake Off. It was the mini rolls.
Oh yeah.
And I recall seeing how perfectly precise and accurate they were. And I was like, this guy is an engineer, and you can see that in his baking, you can see that in what you do. But I want to flip it. Does baking ever have an impact and an influence on engineering and the work you do there?
I think that they are more similar than people might think, because I'm a materials engineer, so I do a lot of temperature checks and baking of materials in very expensive ovens, very large ovens, but the concepts are very much the same. And having been trained on recreating in my head what's happening to the resins, to the materials when you set them in the oven, it leads you to think of what's happening to your butter when you are baking your sponge. And I think there is a little bit of the other way around as well. So I think that they end up feeding each other in a way. I don't think it's a coincidence that at least the bakers that perform very well on Bake Off, on the show, most of them have got a technical or scientific background, because baking is very precise and very scientific, and there is an element of project management in the tandem that you need to take into account, time management especially. So if you are used to doing that in your daily life, then it's easier to transfer it across.
There's the one thing of being on the show and filming it, but then you also watch it back on television. Do you remember what it was like, the first episode that you watched back?
So I've only watched the show with me on once, the season, and it's fair to say that's the only season that I've watched once, because every other season I've watched several times, but I avoid watching myself back on television. The funny thing is that I was, when the series was broadcast, I was living in Italy, because I'd moved out to start a new job in Milan soon after filming the series. So I watched it from my Italian flat on Italian grounds, which felt very awkward, because I never got to experience what happens the next morning when you go to the supermarket. It was very funny, because obviously in Italy nobody knew anything about it, so I could go out and lead my normal life. But the minute I flew back to the UK, the minute you land and step foot on the UK airport, then everybody all of a sudden recognizes you, and that's very, very surreal. I've always said that it felt very much like being Clark Kent in Italy and Superman in the UK. The minute you travel over, all of a sudden you're wearing a cape.
Do you have any standout moment from being Superman in the UK, people coming up to you and recognizing you, that really is burned in your brain?
Yes, and this is an anecdote that I'm going to be telling to my grandkids, but it's not in the UK, it was in the States actually, because when I was promoting my, I can't remember, it was for the first or the second book, I was in New York, and it was December, just before Christmas, and I was walking on Fifth Avenue in the middle of Manhattan, all scarfed up, hats, wintry clothing, so barely recognizable. And while I was walking on the pavement on Fifth Avenue, this family comes across opposite me, and the mom looks up, she looks at me and she goes, "Hey Giuseppe, we're big fan. I was like, I'm getting recognized in the middle of Manhattan. How fantastic is that?
You are an international superstar, Giuseppe.
Precisely. It's definitely something you want to tell your grandkids.
That's very cool. That is very cool. And something you don't expect from the show as well, but
yeah, exactly.
It connects across the world, especially in America. It connects really, really well.
Yeah.
Winning the Bake Off, has that changed your relationship with baking as a hobby, as a passion?
So one of the reasons why I applied for the Bake Off in the first place was to have an excuse to bake. Because obviously if you have a household, kids, and a full-time job, you don't have the time to spend in the kitchen that much. So I thought, I'm going to apply to the show. So if they do get me, I'm going to have a very good excuse to bake. Nobody can tell me to stop because I'm going to do it for the show. So I think that has changed. I bake much more now than I used to. And I'm glad, because that's the very reason why I got into this. But I think that the biggest byproduct of being on the show is the fact that it's created an entire new career for me that I never considered as an option. So I never considered, having baking classes or baking cakes for people, and I'm doing that now on a regular basis. So it's changed my life a little.
Okay, so for our next challenge, Giuseppe, we're going to be putting your piping skills to the test. I'm going to be joining you on this one.
Okay.
And so we have 4 lovingly homemade cupcakes, definitely not purchased, as cheap as possible out of Tesco. Yeah. And we have got a bag of whipped cream, and we've got some sprinkles. And we each need to decorate our 4 cupcakes as perfectly as we can. And the one rub is, we're also going to have to do it blindfolded.
Okay. Do you have somebody who can do the washing up after this? Because this is going to get messy.
I forced many people to do this during my friend's show, and I've not done it myself yet.
Okay.
So I'm slightly worried.
Is there we can go any pattern?
You can do any pattern you like. Just make it as beautiful as you can.
Sure.
Charlie behind the camera is going to make sure that we don't break something.
You ready?
Okay. Oh my word, it truly is dark. Are you ready, Giuseppe?
No. I forgot where I put my... Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Let's do it, Giuseppe. Let's decorate. Oh my word, this is so difficult.
I can feel... Well, half of that ended up on my fingers. This is never going to be a clean job, is it?
How confident are you feeling?
I've always thought that decorating cakes is highly overrated.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So it's not your favourite part of the experience?
No. I'd rather spend my time making cakes delicious than make them look super architectural or beautiful or sculpted.
Amazing. Do you know what? I'm feeling really confident of what I've done. I have no idea where I should be.
I don't know where they are.
I'm accessing the sprinkles now. I'm
Oh, I missed one. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go.
Are you putting sprinkles everywhere? The school are not going to be happy with me when they're trying to... Do you know what? I feel pretty good. Is there shenanigans going on?
No, nothing.
Okay. I'm feeling confident. I'm happy with where I'm at.
Okay,
Are you
fair
happy?
enough. Yeah.
Shall we take our blindfolds off? 3, 2, 1.
This is carnage. What have you done? Look at that.
That
Shame
was
on
you. That was
no,
you.
Not at all.
I'm proud. I'm very proud of that.
I really I'm really not.
Winners of the Great British Bake Off, seasons 11 and 12. Makes you proud, doesn't
We've
it?
just ruined our reputation.
It makes you proud.
Yes.
Hey, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Peter, come on.
Just to finish off, we've got some quick fire questions.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? You can only have one of these for the rest of your life. Are you picking butter or olive oil?
Olive oil.
Olive oil, okay.
Yeah.
Scone or scone?
I'm Italian, I don't care.
Fair enough. Rank the signature, technical and showstopper challenges from your favourite to your least favourite.
Oh, technical signature showstopper.
Really?
Easy. Oh, I love the
Technical
technical.
favourite.
You can't get ready for them, so you just have to enjoy them.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Baking with friends or baking alone?
Alone. Always.
Most underrated Italian dessert?
Underrated. I think, well, I'm going to go back to my Easter pie, the pastiera. I think that is not well known abroad, but it's definitely worth trying.
Good shout. Maybe a more difficult one. Most overrated Italian dessert.
Oh, but where do I start? Panettone. I think it's overrated occasionally, yeah, because some of the panettone you buy in supermarkets are pretty rubbish. Tiramisu, if it's not made properly, can be overrated because you end up very often with over-soaked sponges or biscuits that make it very wet. But if it's done beautifully, it's worth it. So I would say a badly made tiramisu is overrated.
It's a good way to answer the question. Saying a bad version of it is overrated. Yeah. What is the coolest experience you've had since winning the show?
Once I was asked to film a YouTube show with Peter Soken.
Good answer, but the incorrect answer, I think we know.
The coolest, I don't know, there are so many. Well, I met King Charles. Yeah, it's difficult to outrank that.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then what's the last thing that you actually baked yourself?
The last thing. Oh yes, I made some beignets for a dinner party last week that I was very proud of. Because for the first time I made a crackling that worked on the beignet, and I filled them with a very nice diplomat cream, lemon flavored, which was very light, very silky. Very messy when you bite into it, because it was squirting out from everywhere, but it was definitely worth the calories.
That sounds very good. Giuseppe, thank you so much for coming on the show. You've been an absolute treat to have on. I always love seeing you.
As always.
Would you like to let us know down to this camera where people can find you and what you've got going on?
I've got loads of things going on. The best thing you can do is to go on my website, giuseppedellanno.com, or follow me on Instagram at Giuseppe Cooks, and you'll find everything over there. Baking classes, books, chocolates, wedding cakes, anything you need, give me a shout.
Thank you so much, Giuseppe. You're a legend.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed the show, please consider liking the video, sharing it with your friends and family, and also subscribing to the channel as well. I have to say a huge thank you to Edinburgh Food and Drink Academy, Scotland's home for food and drink in the heart of Edinburgh, for hosting us in their beautiful kitchen for this episode. Happy baking, and I'll see you in the next one.